how high up on the list of key topics for voters is the economy, and who polls best on that topic more broadly?
So it depends on which poll you're looking at and which state you're asking in. But Trump generally has the advantage on the economy, but it competes with a whole bunch of other issues, including, most importantly, the coronavirus, where Biden has a very large lead over President Trump. And there's a mixture of other issues in there, healthcare, race relations, and so forth. But those tend to be the top two. And the two candidates, they play to each other's different strengths.
Clete, does President Trump still deserve to poll well on the economy, given the historic recession this year, albeit clearly caused by outside events? Many could argue that the increase in the deficit, the geopolitical tensions caused by some of his economic policies, perhaps offset the gains that came even before the coronavirus.
I think it's legitimate for people to question all aspects of the administration's response on coronavirus, but I don't think it's legitimate to blame the president for the current economic situation. Before the coronavirus came to our shores, our economy was humming along. And the point the president's going to make tonight is that once we get past that, he is much better equipped than Joe Biden to return us to, I think, what was a fairly historic period of prosperity.
John, I'm curious what you're hearing from the conversations you're having with investors and clients of the Eurasia Group, because generally the consensus among investors I talk to on and off air, is that a blue sweep, a blue wave, Biden president and Democrats take the Senate, would be net negative for the markets because of anti-business friendly policies, higher corporate tax rates, higher wealth taxes, higher capital gains taxes. All of that would hurt the market. Is that what you're hearing?
So that's definitely the case, that in the long run, the Biden agenda, empowered by a Democratic Senate, has higher taxes, new regulations going beyond the level you saw in the Obama administration, expanded healthcare spending. All of that's probably bad for growth in the long run. But what's interesting is a lot of our clients are focused on early 2021, where they see a much higher chance of a very large fiscal stimulus getting done under Joe Biden, which means that potentially could be market positive and good for the economy in the short run. All it takes, 2022 is when you see the tax increases and so forth start biting.
Clete, is it possible to increase taxes without it hurting the economy? And if so, which taxes should be the focus?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, I agree completely with what John just said. I mean, I don't think there's any question that over the 4-year horizon, President Trump's going to be better for economic growth. But don't underestimate the Biden bump. And if you do have that blue wave, there is going to be a lot of stimulus that's likely enacted. I think, look, not all taxes are created equal, and I don't want to make a generalization about that. But I think the perception that that's going to create, and taxes on business in particular, are really going to be the most harmful. I do want to say, I think in some ways the worst case scenario here for markets is going to be a scenario where Biden wins the presidency, but Republicans hold the Senate, because that's a scenario where you've got the executive branch able to move forward with a whole range of regulations. But then you have the Congress, who probably doesn't support much stimulus. And so you get the worst of both worlds.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.